Hi everyone, this is Information Overload, episode 9. My name is Alexander Backman. I'm making this video because I'm still upset by Planned Parenthood and their, just the killing of innocent life. That's what it is. It's a horrendous thing that should not happen ever, but it's still happening in Nazi America. But it's not only Nazi America. Israel aborts more babies. In fact, I believe Dr. Bill Deagle when he said that Israel was the biggest country in the world that aborted babies per capita. It turned out to be a lie. I checked out at the United Nations database, and Israel is number 13 on the list. But Russia is number 1. Russia aborts more babies than any other country in the world. From the list, from the bottom up, those are the countries that abort more babies. So it's safe to say that Dr. Bill Deagle of NutriMedical.com is an absolute farce and a liar based on this data. Jerusalem has become the new Sodom and Gomorrah, spoken of by Jesus Christ in the end of days. Jerusalem is Sodom and Gomorrah, Tel Aviv, the homosexual capital of the world, and the United States is going down the tubes, morally, spiritually, economically, educationally. I mean, this communist agenda of destroying the United States has had such an effect and success, because it's been successful to such a degree that America does not love its country anymore. America does not see what America really stands for because of people that have come and taken over and basically infiltrated her and done whatever they want with her. They've raped her and pillaged her dry. Dry as a bone, America has become a worthless state, basically, once the Chinese and the Russians gain hold of the new monetary system worldwide by September. And what's going on, all this hype about the Shemitah is uncanny. I mean, all the numbers and everything aligning with the collapse of the stock exchange, history-wise, I mean, all these economical cycles are really fulfilling what is stated in biblical prophecy. Mind you, that the Hebrew calendar that we follow today may have changed throughout history. Some people say that we are off by 18 years. In fact, I tend to agree after I've done the research. So in reality, I mean, we're way past due this the situation with the Shemitah, and whatever happens will happen. Whatever happens will happen. But I want to give you some refreshing good news. There's a new book out that I just purchased. I purchased it at WorldNet Daily Books. And it's a book that is uplifting because it shows us that Christianity is not on the decline as many wish us to believe. On the contrary, Christianity worldwide is on the uprise because more and more people are realizing that as the exacerbation of events start unfolding, earthquakes, volcanoes, near-Earth objects coming in, and other things that are looming, like the possibility of a nuclear exchange between rogue nations or nations around the world that really want to bring the world to a lower rate of population growth. And we know who they are. All these people are evil to the core, and they want to kill little children. What I don't get is why the killing of innocent life still continues to this day, all in the name of science. Look, I've been reading up on this, and I went to childrenofgodforlife.org. Debbi Vinnedge it's her website, and she has done a stellar job with her website. I just want to browse through the website and show you a little bit about it. Okay, I really want you to go to this website because this has to do a lot with the research with regard to abortion. Children of God for Life. It says the pro-life world leader in campaign for ethical vaccines, medicines, and consumer products. And here it is. Another felony at Planned Parenthood caught on camera. For immediate release, as news broke last week with Planned Parenthood video showing their intended sale of aborted baby organs, the world was suddenly awakened from complacency to utter shock and disbelief. Duh. But another fact caught on camera garnered little to no public attention: the alteration of the timing. So you go to the article. Here's the article in question. I like this. Babies are not spare parts. That is so true. And the article says here, but another fact caught on camera garnered little to no public attention: the alteration of the timing and method of an abortion whenever the baby will be used for research or vaccine production. It's a felony action punishable under federal law, noted Children of God Life's executive director Debbie Vinnedge, who cited Section 2 of the U.S. Code of Federal Regulations, which states that the attending physician must sign a statement saying that no alteration of the timing, method, or procedures used to terminate the pregnancy was solely for the purposes of obtaining the tissue or body parts or whatever they're doing, right? According to Cornell law. Vinnedge continued, what most people do not know is that this has been going on secretly for decades without any legal consequences. Wow. I mean, this has been going on for decades. For decades and decades and decades, they've been killing off babies. What is it now, 60 million so far since Roe versus Wade? The United States has allowed Satan to take control of everything. Planned Parenthood must be defunded, and not only that, it must be closed and shut down. Okay? You already experimented, you already found out what it is. Abortion is not a choice. It's not about I'm the woman and I select what I can do with my own body. It has nothing to do with that. That's just the communist agenda by the United Nations. In reality, you have no right to do anything with that baby, because that baby is sacred life. Okay? There are extreme circumstances in law where, I mean, if you're gang raped by ISIS, by 30 men daily in Syria, and you end up pregnant, would you like to terminate that pregnancy? Okay, that's a rough question, but it's happening now. It's happening right now. Okay, these girls, they're 11, 12 years old, and they're being gang raped in Syria. And by these demons from hell called ISIS. That's what they are. They're demons from hell. And it just breaks my heart just to think about, because when they're raping them, they're asking them to deny Jesus. They're asking them to renounce to Jesus. And then they come in the next morning and say, are you ready to renounce to Jesus and accept Allah and Muhammad and the Quran? And they say, no, we will never renounce to the name of Jesus. We love Jesus. And they start raping them some more. And they start raping them some more. And then they start feeding their own children to the mothers. So how wicked is this thing going to get? I don't know. I think it's time to, I don't know, do something. Caught on camera, Deborah Nucatola, Planned Parenthood Senior Director of Medical Services, described the gruesome methods used to ensure their specimens are top quality and fully intact. We've been very good at getting heart, lung, liver, because we know, it says, and it keeps on quoting, I'm not going to crush that part. I'm going to basically crush below. I'm going to crush above. And I'm going to see if I can get it all intact. And for that reason, most providers will do this case under ultrasound guidance, so they'll know where they're putting their forceps. This is wickedness. Nucatola cavalierly discussed fetal brain procurement, the brain of little babies. And with the calvarium in general, she says, some people will actually try to change the presentation so that it's not vertex. So if you do it starting from the breech presentation, they try to induce labor. There's dilation that happens as the case goes on, and often the last step, you can evacuate an intact calvarium at the end, the entire head. For the past 15 years, Children of God has reported in numerous articles and public seminars on just some of the methods Planned Parenthood Uses when aborted babies are used for vaccine and medical research. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Many of you don't know this, and that's why this article is so important, what they're really doing in these horrid practices. Margaret Sanger, the founder of Planned Parenthood, basically Hitler's girlfriend, if you ask me. Hitler had her book under his pillow. And, okay, this is what it says. It says here, for example, in one of their DVDs, Vinnedge cites the later Dr. Bernard Nathanson, who quotes from the writings of Dr. Peter McCullough, immunologist, in his book, The Fetus as Transplant Donor, Scientific, Social, and Ethical Perspectives. Dr. Nathan noted the following. This is a doctor. Now, what they were doing to ensure the organs would be intact was what is called prostaglandin abortions. Prostaglandin abortions. They would inject a substance into the womb of the woman. The woman would then go into mini labor and pass the baby. 50% of the time the baby would be born alive. Did you hear that? 50% of the time the baby would be born alive. But that didn't stop them, says Dr. Nathanson. They would just simply open up the abdomen of the baby with no anesthesia and take out the liver and kidneys, etc. Wow. What are you feeling right now when I'm saying these things? Do you have any empathy in you, or are you a psychopath? Like Obama or the rest of the politicians that don't have any empathy for what I just read. 50% of the time, the baby would be born alive, and that didn't stop them at Planned Parenthood. No, they would just simply open up the abdomen of the baby while still alive, with no anesthesia, and take out the liver and kidneys. Ouch! I have so many words of anger to say, and I'm not going to say them on this video. I'm going to contain myself and just shout it out some other way, you know? And according to late Father Paul Marks of Human Life International, Dr. Ian Donald described the experiments he had personally witnessed at the Karolinska Institute in Sweden, in Stockholm, Sweden, where the tissues for vaccine research were procured. Now get this. It says the following. I gotta show it to you because you're not gonna believe me if I don't read it to you. If I don't show it to you, I'm sorry. It says here, experiments were being performed on near-term alive aborted babies who were not even afforded the mercy of anesthetic as they writhed and cried in agony. And when their usefulness had expired, they were executed and discarded as garbage at the Karolinska Institute in Sweden, the prestigious Karolinska Institute, okay? Now let me tell you about the Karolinska Institute. I'm half Swedish, so I know about this. A Chilean woman from Chile, she wrote me hysterically like 3 years ago. They took her in at the Karolinska Institute, got her sick on purpose, and started extracting her organs without permission. They took a kidney, they took part of her liver. They didn't tell her what they were doing to her until she realized what they were doing to her. Alright? But this is true. I have all the emails backed up. I'm going to find them. I'm going to try to find them and make a video on that. How do you deal with these situations right now? How do you deal with this? I mean, in order to stain 95% of the cells, the live tissue would be needed to preserve within 5 minutes. Okay. You know, when they abort these live babies, they're alive and they're taken out, and if they're born alive, the better, because that's when they can take out the organs while they're still alive. So the organs do not fail or they die off. After an hour, they don't work anymore. That's right here. Within an hour, the specimens would be useless. So they decide, in order to sustain 95% of the cells, that the tissue would would need to be preserved within 5 minutes of the abortion. The babies are still alive. These babies that Planned Parenthood and Dr. Deborah Nucatola are, you know, selling as spare parts are in fact alive. I bet you they're alive because they need to sell the organs and get them to some universities like Colorado University. Shame on you. Shame on you. And check this out. Unless one thinks this was confined to abortions overseas, in Sweden, U.S. scientists recorded using aborted babies for decades in polio research under the 1922 U.S. model eugenics sterilization law. Yes, you had Nazi laws like that, and they're coming back. Fascism is back, which required the forcible sterilization of those deemed unfit to breed. In Sweden, the government sterilized so many people without consent, just because you had a flunking grade in mathematics, or if your parents got divorced, or if you had any issue, any social problem, they would clean you, they would clean the race, the master race philosophy of Hitler. They would still apply it in Sweden up until 1968, I think. Tens of thousands of Swedes got sterilized by force while they were in their middle school years. So, and here it says, okay, because you're unfit to breed. According to the government, you can't have babies. Now, these included the mentally impaired, epileptics, or the feeble-minded, unwed mothers, and in many cases, their pregnancy was also forcibly terminated. Welcome to Communist Mao China. This is the same thing that's going on. Nothing has changed. In just one of the several research documents published by those procuring fetal organs for polio research, Debbi Vinnedge from childrenofgod.org, childrenofgodforlife.org, discovered it was obtained under sterile precautions at the time of abdominal hysterotomy. Now, what's a hysterotomy? Check this out, all right? This is what it was obtained under sterile precautions at the time of abdominal hysterotomy. Embryos of between 12 and 18 weeks gestation have been utilized. Rarely, tissues were obtained from stillborn fetuses. Rarely, okay? Or from premature infants at autopsy. Whenever possible, the embryo was removed from the amniotic sac under sterile precautions, transferred to a sterile towel, and kept at 5 centigrades until dissected, alive. Abdominal hysterectomy is a type of C-section where the baby is surgically removed intact, according to the Journal of Obstetrics and Gynecology. It is only done in special circumstances like Planned Parenthood aborting babies, such as when sterilization is required in addition to the termination of the pregnancy, as in the case of cardiac diseases, diabetes, tuberculosis, or mental disease. Okay, so if you're mentally diseased, like if you have autism or whatever, they're going to sterilize you when you have your baby. Otherwise, it is employed after the 2nd trimester. So anyway, okay, so here it says abdominal hysterectomy is already noted is just one of the many methods that could be used in obtaining intact fetal remains. In fact, Dr. Gonzalo Herranz, professor of histology and general embryology at the University of Navarra in Spain, stated the following. Okay, what did he say? He said, to obtain embryo cells for culture, a program abortion must be adopted, choosing the age of the embryo and dissecting it alive. Okay? Dissecting it while still alive. Are you reading that? To remove tissues to be placed in culture media. Okay. 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 Are you understanding what I'm getting at here? Laws were put into place to stop this abominable action, Vinnedge said, and now Planned Parenthood has given the world the visual proof of just what they have been up to. They're doing it to live babies, okay? They're doing it to live babies. They're dissecting them alive at 5 centigrades. I mean, I'm not saying defund Planned Parenthood. Shut down Planned Parenthood. Destroy those clinics. Destroy those clinics right now. You citizens of America, you have to stand up and go take control of those clinics and not allow this any longer. Okay. Topic number 2, and I'm off. Here it is. You see this? Pamela Geller wrote, help liberate the Christian and Yazidi captives of the Islamic State. Okay, and look at that picture right there. I'm like asking myself, what's that, right? The YCY, the Liberation of Christian and Yazidi Children of Iraq. I would recommend that you give your money to this organization. At least they're doing something about it to save the babies and the children, okay? All right? So if you want to go and look for that, I'll put the link in the description box. And if you could just like, this organization is real and it's not going to rob your money, okay? I've already checked it out. Because there's a lot of them out there, you know, Christian groups and whatever, asking for money. And they're just asking for money. And that's the shoe. That's the same picture you see here. That's the shoe of a real Syrian baby that was killed by ISIS. Cut into pieces, okay? So just think about it. Babies are being killed by the Sharia and by Planned Parenthood. So it shows us that democracy has failed. Democracy has failed. We are allowing sick, evil people to control the world. And that has to stop. That has to stop. May His kingdom come soon. May Jesus come soon and just deal with this. So if you can pitch in a little bit just to help more babies get, you know, out of harm's way. The UK is not receiving any of the Christians, by the way, that are fleeing Syria and Iraq because they're Muslim. Who's going to take them in? Anyway, a pastor told me, well, that's their tribulation. Wow. They know where they live. They're a minority in that region where they live, and they know that this could happen eventually. But you know, Christianity is rising. It's increasing, so let's be positive here as much as we can. Don't stop praying. And they're rolling out these videos about Planned Parenthood. Let's not stay silent about this, people. Let's keep talking about it and getting the information out. Third shock video catches Planned Parenthood vice president selling baby parts of aborted babies. There's a new video. Go to lifenews.com. Go to COG4life.org, and let's affect some change here. All right. I love you. Jesus loves you. Take care. Bye-bye.